What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be giving you my top 10 offensive defensemen in the NHL. Last week, I gave you my defensive defensemen, a much more boring, mundane list talking about shutdown defensemen. Today, we're going to be talking about guys that rack up points, score goals, sick assists. It's going to be a way cooler video. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm only talking about the offensive side of their game. And at number 10 is Mikhail Sergachev. Mikhail Sergachev, I don't think that he took this massive leap in skill this year. It was more so him just getting out of Victor Hedman's shadow. He became that power play quarterback. He was always a very good number two, very solid second pairing offensive defenseman for the Lightning. He just wasn't getting those top minutes and top power play behind Hedman, but Hedman started to kind of crater this year, and as a result, Sergachev racked up 64 points. Such a fantastic passer and skater. I think going forward, you can kind of rely on him to be around the mid-60s point guy. Number 9, Josh Morrissey. Josh Morrissey this year absolutely exploded. 76 points in 78 games. This is a dude that didn't even have more than 37 points before this season, so I don't think that he's going to, if I thought that he was going to be consistently 76 points, he'd be like top 5 on this list. I think he is going to come back down to earth. I think the Jets did just have a very good season offensively, especially that power play was kind of cooking for the most part. But when looking at Morrissey, he's probably a guy that's more so on that Jets team, high 50s, low 60s. If he went to another team, he could probably repeat around 60s, maybe low 70s. But given the team that he has right now, I think it's safe to say that he's around the 12 goal 45 assist guy next year. I like his overall game. I do think he is a little bit overrated right now because he's not that good defensively, but we're not talking about defense. We're like talking about offense right now. Number 8, a guy that I think is pretty underrated is Shay Theodore. Shay Theodore obviously plays the same way Sergachev before this year. He does kind of play behind Alex Pietrangelo. He doesn't really rack up high-level minutes, but still is such an efficient offensive defenseman. Over the last 4 seasons, his average point pace has been 61 points, but he just never really plays every single game in the season. He always misses like 15 to 20 games, which is definitely a problem. The best abilities, availability. I understand all that, but when healthy, Shay Theodore is around the 60-point defenseman this year in the playoffs. I think he had 13 points in 20 games en route to the Stanley Cup. In like 2020, he had 19 and 20. He was a monster for Vegas, and I think if Pietrangelo starts to kind of regress, Shay Theodore will have the tool set to rise up to be that number 1 in Vegas. Number 7, this is kind of like a tier jump up. I did my player pyramid. Go check that on my Instagram of the offensive defenseman. We're getting into the elites. Rasmus Dahlin really took that next step this year. He had 73 points in 78 games. He showed so much more poise on the back end this year. Obviously, his team improved as a whole, which helped him rack up some more points. But I really saw a different Rasmus Dahlin in terms of holding on to the puck, not rushing decisions, just playing more smart hockey compared to maybe last year and the previous year in Buffalo when he had to really force a lot and had a lot of pressure on him because they didn't have an Owen Power. They didn't have an Alex Tuch, a Jeff Skinner that was playing at this level. So I think he's really settling into his role in Buffalo as that number 1 guy and has the players around him to flourish. So I think going forward, he is a guy that can consistently put up 70 points. Moving on to number 6, Adam Fox. I don't think Adam Fox is a high prolific offensive guy. He's the 6th best offensive defenseman in the entire league, so that's still pretty solid. Some people might say I have him low. I love his game overall because he's also fantastic defensively, but we're going to talk about that. But overall, Adam Fox, again, very smart, one of the highest hockey IQs in the entire league. And that maybe allows him to flourish and get consistently 70-point seasons. Last 3 years have all been around 70-point pace. He's maybe not the best skater, which kind of holds him back in terms of these offensive rankings, transitioning up the ice, doing all that stuff. But when you look at it, the results are undeniable. He's in the top 5% of even strength offense every single year. Great on the power play as well. So Adam Fox is definitely deserving of number 6. Number 5, I got Dougie Hamilton. Dougie Hamilton this year really reminded us of just how good he is. The thing with him is he's one of the best goal-scoring defensemen in the entire league. Before Cale Makar kind of burst onto the scene, I would have said that Dougie Hamilton's the best goal-scoring defenseman. In the last 5 years, he has the 2nd most goals out of any defenseman in the entire league, only behind a guy that I have later on the list named Josi. He's good for around, this year he had 22 goals and 74 points. That production is absolutely insane. And I think going forward, he's around 18 to 20 goals on that Devils team and around 70 points. He's really that perfect defenseman for the New Jersey Devils to be able to keep up with some of their young, speedy guys. He's a very good passer. You can always trust him at the blue line to let one rip, and it's either going to be a goal or a pretty decent deflection. He's effective at shooting the puck on the net. So I think Dougie Hamilton's in store for another very good year. Number 4, Roman Josi. You could probably put him number 2. I don't know if you can put him number 3. I don't know if you can put him number 2. But Roman Josi, bit of a down year last year, 58 points in 68 games, missed 14 games, obviously. But when looking at Roman Josi, over the past 4 years, this guy has won the Norris. The shortened season, he still had around like 50 points. Then he goes for 96. And even last year, still 70-point pace. He's so smooth in transition with the puck. He really does it all for the Nashville Predators, and he's going to have to do it this year because they don't have a ton of offensive talent. He just plays with such poise and such patience in terms of bringing the puck up, and he can make literally like any pass on the ice. So when looking at Roman Josi, yes, he is starting to get up there in age, but he has really shown no signs of slowing down, considering 2 years ago he had 96 points. So just a fantastic player. Number 3, Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes for me is the best defenseman passer in the entire NHL. I like him more than the guys that I have ahead of him. His stretch passes are absolutely insane. He's fantastic in transition. He was drafted to be the prototypical offensive defenseman, and he has definitely lived up to that billing. 76 points last year, I think, in 78 games. I have him at 82 points next year, and again, he's doing that on not that talented of a Vancouver Canucks team. This isn't Adam Fox on the Rangers, Dougie Hamilton on the Devils. He's almost point per game on the goddamn Vancouver Canucks. That's why he was named captain, because he is such an efficient player, still signed for 4 more years. Quinn Hughes, when healthy, when playing, and especially if he had more talent, would rightfully so be like primed for Norris finalists basically every single year. Sadly, that's not the case. Maybe one year he'll just score like 90 to 95 points, and they'll have to give it to him, but we're going to have to wait and see. Number 2, I'm going Erik Carlson. I've trashed Erik Carlson a lot because of the defense. I've only trashed him because of the defense. I've always said that he is and has been, even in his worst years in San Jose, an effective offensive defenseman. He's the most talented offensive defenseman, besides maybe the guy that I have in number 1, that we have seen of the 21st century, most likely. And in Ottawa, back in a lower scoring time, he was scoring point per game, 20 goals a year. It was absolutely insane. Again, even in San Jose, he was still racking up offense, still top 1% in offense, on even strength offense every single year. And obviously last year he goes for 101 points. Most of it being at even strength. It was like 75 or 76 even strength goals. He's just such a fantastic skater. His vision and awareness is the best that I've seen ever from a defenseman. And I think going into Pittsburgh next year, he's in store for like an 80 to 85 point season. But at number 1, it's obviously Cale Makar. When healthy, over the past 2 years, he's basically been around 25 to 30 goals a year and over a point per game. If he is healthy, I have him penciled in for 25 goals and 90 points. He's that good. He has been that consistently good over the past 2 years. He hasn't been healthy. That's definitely a major problem. But you look at him, best shooting defenseman, probably the best skating defenseman. His edges are insane. He has great top-end speed. In terms of him offensively, you can say maybe defensively he isn't the best or top 10. I didn't have him in my top 10. I had his teammate Devon Toews. Maybe he gets carried defensively by Devon Toews, but offensively, the stuff that this guy does on the ice is really unlike any defenseman I've ever seen outside of maybe prime Erik Carlson, but even still, I think their styles were pretty different. Carlson was definitely more of a passer. Cale Makar will rip one bar down right in front of your face after deking you out of your goddamn skates. So in looking at Cale Makar, yeah, he has a chance to go down as, besides Bobby Orr, legitimately the greatest offensive defenseman of all time. I don't think that's that much of a reach. But overall, here's my full top 10. Cale Makar, Erik Carlson, Quinn Hughes, Roman Josi, Dougie Hamilton, Adam Fox, Rasmus Dahlin, Shay Theodore, Josh Morrissey, Mikhail Sergachev. But yeah, that's the list. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I don't think that's that controversial. I did like a full pyramid on my Instagram if you want to go check it out. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Watch the Leo Carlson interview. Thank you so much for